What is it all about, the magic finger?
The magic finger. It's about this. The main character is this girl named girl, just
Okay.
girl, and the other characters are Mr. Greg, Mrs. Greg, and Mrs. Greg's and Mr. Greg's children, Philip Greg, William Greg.
Okay, amazing.
And
So what
then
happened in this?
the story goes like this. So, girl, she never knew this would happen in her life, but she one day she what's that in the Saturday mornings her friend William Gregg and Philip Gregg go out for hunting, but Philip Gregg is still only 8 years old, but he has a gun of his own, so he goes out with out to hunt with his father and brother, and then he just goes out at every Saturday morning, and then
What did they catch?
She saw them coming out of the forest at the one Saturday morning, and then when they're coming out, they're carrying with a stick. They're carrying a very lovely young deer. And then she got so cross that she shouted at them. And then
What did she say?
She just shouted.
Caught the deer.
Yeah, they just killed
it. They're lovely. Oh my goodness.
And then the next page it says like, oh, she gets so cross, and then she never meant to do this, but she haven't done this in her life, but suddenly a kind of blaze came out of her finger, tip of her finger here, like.
Oh, that's why it's called magic finger.
And there's a blaze, and then she first saw red, and then she got more cross, and the finger went out to the cross, and then.
So when she's cross, she gets to have this magic power suddenly from her tip of her finger.
And then, and then, for months she has been not telling her to do the magic finger upon anyone. Since her teacher got the magic finger too. Okay.
So how does the story end?
Okay, the story ends like this. The Gregs, the Greg family, while they're catching wild ducks, they catch 16 birds, and then they are going back home. But like these 4 wild ducks come, and then they keep on cracking, and then later on, when the children were sleeping, like the father came out, and then what's that? He came to get some firewood for the fireplace. And then what's that? He managed some wild duck sounds, and then the ducks flew right upon his head, and the 4 ducks were like spinning around the head. And then he was so afraid that he just forgot about the fireplace wood, and they just went back and home. And then he was so frightened that he just told the kids and the mom to sleep. And then he just said, "Good night, sweet dreams." And then he just slept. And then the next morning, you know what a gravy holy happened?
What happened?
They had wings.
Into the birds.
No, their faces were still humans. And they were birds now.
Oh my goodness.
But they're not exactly birds, but they just have wings.
Human birds.
And then Mr. Gregor woke up first, and he wanted to look at the time, but he couldn't get his hand out. That's because of the wing.
Oh.
And then he was, and he just got out of the bed, and then he realized that he was small as a chair, small as a kid's chair, and then he looked at the
Is it shrinking
mirror,
or something?
Mirror? No, he became a
Bird and then
wild duck. So
so
he's
it's
not
becoming
tall.
the duck size.
And then he looked at the mirror, and then he shouted and screamed, and then now it was Mrs. Greg's turn to wake up and then shout and then scream, and then she went out of the bed and then she shouted and screamed.
Because she found out that she was a bird.
No, she couldn't look at the window, right? She couldn't look at the thing because she was much more smaller than Mr. Greg.
Oh.
and then she was like, "Why can't I reach this, honey?" And then you mean why can't you look at that thing? No, it's a mirror. And he was like that. And then she was like, "Oh my God." And then she screamed in front of Mr. Greg, and then because he was a bird, she was like, "Oh my, honey, what happened to you? You mean what happened to both of us?" And then
So how many times did you read that book?
4 times.
Oh, that's why you're remembering the story so well. I didn't know you were reading that.
And
Okay.
then
Thank you.